So Jim, have you ever used an Eyeline or any sort of aid similar to that?
Yeah, I have an Eyeline that's the two rails that is for an arc stroke that I've used, and I'll set up in my den, and I'll work on that. I find it okay. I know it's got all the features to help you improve the backstroke and everything, but for me, it's so much feel that I don't want to get too much mechanical in my head. It's just like the length of the backstroke. If I start thinking about it, it's going to affect the transition of the putter.
Yeah.
So I always am trying to look for some feel that's mechanically sound to what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
And that would be, in my case, I know that the key part, and I mean, one of them's the one-handed putting drill, and I do a lot. These I find really helps that because I have to really hold that.
Yep.
And it really it shows how weak we are in the wrist. That a lot of people can't hold that. So I can feel that wrinkle.
Yep, their wrist ends up giving.
And now the trouble with that, the only thing I find wrong with the one-hand drill is I think there is a tendency to take it back pretty far because it doesn't feel very powerful. But the point is, it probably would help me to do that drill with short strokes because the last thing I want, opposed to Stockton, and I understand using the top hand, that's another great way to putt. There's nothing wrong with that. But when I do that and I hold that, it feels like I push that here. But I
feel like that's a tough way to keep your hands down. Your hands end up getting high. And his whole philosophy is if you hit
that one I do.
Putt one-handed, you have to make sure that you're finishing really low.
Right. Well, you know, I want the face to finish down the line, but the key to me is if I get that wrinkle, I get that wrinkle past the ball. All I'm trying to think about is hold that and pass the ball.
So my thought process, and I know the mechanical issue is somewhat there, but this may be something to consider. At least with something like this, or even a ruler, we were talking a lot about length of the backstroke and shortening it up a hair just so you feel like you can really accelerate and finish down your line. And I feel like something like this, or even a ruler or a putting block, at least then you start to get a feel for how far you're taking it back. Not necessarily to think about how far you're taking it back, but then when you're practicing, you can say, okay, I hit a really good putt there.
Right.
And when you hit those poor putts, because you are, you know, especially if you're working through something and you're trying to change something, if you do hit a poor putt, you'll be able to say, okay, well, instead of taking it back 2.5 inches, that one I took back 3.5 inches when I had to settle.
Right.
Even if you're not thinking about how far do I have to take this back. Now that might be a problem where that creeps into your head.
Yeah, the problem is I'm pretty good at looking at the backstroke already.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me is that I want. See, I can feel since I went to trying to mimic my full swing and feeling that. To me, in the essence, I'm really trying to make sure I'm maintaining lag on my putts. I realize that's probably way off abstract for people to think of lag because you're not that.
But it makes sense.
And I can feel when
you're not losing that angle.
And what happens is that when I decel, even with this method, when I start thinking, what happens is I can feel that little bit of loss. It's not. So I need to create. Tension isn't the word I want to use, but I just feel that I can feel that this is in charge. Right here is in charge of my putting stroke.
Yep.
And if I maintain that, and then it maintains through contact with the ball, I'm going to hit the putt good.
It needs to be sturdy. There needs to be some.
That's a good term. Good term.
Strength there.
Certain stability. It needs to be stable.
Stable.
Right. Really stable.
Yep.
And that's why the one-hand drill is fine for some of that because it strengthens. You know, because that putter wants to run away from you. It's heavy down there. And this one, I went to this just the other day. It's a little heavier and it's a face balance, and I like more down the line.
Yep.
So that's why I'm not using my toe balance. But it's just, you know, a matter of feeling that and trusting that, knowing that it's not my stroke. Just like knowing it's not my golf swing. But, you know, there's a saying in one of the books, I think it's Vision 54, bad shots are not caused by bad swings. Bad swings are caused by bad thoughts.
Correct.
So bad thoughts cause bad swings, not bad swings don't cause bad shots.
Exactly.
The shot, and that is important